It's January 2nd, 2024, and we've got some amazing college basketball games on today. And I've got 3 best bets for you guys. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays for the day as you just try to get to the bag together and make some money. Now, yesterday I told you I was boycotting the college football playoff, but listen, those were some excellent games, okay? I had a great time watching the games. We went 2-1 on the channel yesterday. Got both of our college football playoff picks correct, so hopefully you guys made some money on those winners there. We did lose on Tyler Hero on the late night as he just couldn't really hit any shots there, but that happens. 2-1 on the day, 2-1 to start the new year. That's what we love to see. You can see our year-to-date record right here. Just getting started because it's a new year, right? But you can look at some of our other sports and see how we've been doing so far this year. The NFL playoffs is coming on soon, so we got to get locked in and dialed for that. We've got a full NBA and college basketball slate and season then ahead of us once football wraps up. So listen, so many more best bets to get into this new year. I appreciate all the love and support. If you can, drop a like on this video and share this with somebody you know sports bets, so this way we can continue to grow the channel and continue to give you guys more winners. All right, my friends, now let's dive into these best bets. For my first best bet of the day, we're going to go to that UNC and Pitt matchup. I told you we got straight college basketball action on my channel today, and I'm going to go to that ACC matchup. And currently, UNC is 1-0 in ACC play after they won their first game against Florida State, but that was like a month ago. Meanwhile, Pitt, they just lost on Saturday to Syracuse 81-73, and now they found themselves 0-2 in the ACC. And there's a chance today that they might actually fall to 0-3 in the ACC. And you know why that is? Because I'm taking UNC on the spread, -3.5, -110 odds on Caesar. I just really like UNC today. And if you guys were in my Discord group on Saturday, I actually gave out Syracuse on the money line in that game against Pitt as a premium pick. And one of the reasons why I did that and I gave you guys Syracuse is because when you look at Pitt's schedule, right, and their record, it's a little bit deceiving. Right now they're 9-4 and 9-2 if you take out the conference games, which is a pretty solid, record when we're talking about how you handled your non-conference schedule. But when you dive into their body of work, they have 0 wins against top 100 teams in KenPom. That's right, 0 wins. So they literally, anytime they step up in class, they just seem to fall short of the mark. And now they have to go take on a UNC team, which is truthfully the best team that they faced all year to this date. They have a road win against West Virginia, but as the season continues, that win is not really looking pretty impressive. And they do have a home win against IPFW, but those are really the only 2 quality teams that they played. Meanwhile, UNC, they're coming into this conference matchup, and guess what? UNC has played some teams this year. Look at the strength of schedule and look at the teams that UNC played this year. They played Villanova. They lost that game in overtime by 2 on a neutral floor. They beat Arkansas. They beat Tennessee. They beat Florida State. They beat Oklahoma. That is a solid slate of victories. And not to mention they lost a close game against UConn and another close game against Kentucky. So just based off the strength of schedule, body of work, strength of opponents, UNC is just a much better battle-tested team and just an overall better team. They're ranked 9th in offensive efficiency and they're ranked 39th in defensive efficiency. So they're giving it to you both sides on the ball, offense and defense. And I think they're just going to cause a lot of havoc for this Pitt team today. And keep in mind that they have a lot of star power there in UNC as well. They like to push the pace. They like to get down in transition, running the tempo. And RJ Davis, he scored 20 or more points in 8 straight games. And that Tennessee game that I told you that they got that win against, they dropped 100 points on that victory against Tennessee. And we talked about Tennessee's defense last week on the channel. We talked about how strong Tennessee's defense has been all year, and to drop 100 points on Tennessee's defense kind of lets you understand how good this UNC offense can be. And for me, I just don't think Pitt has enough offensive weapons to keep up offensively to even score enough points. Defensively, Pitt's not the worst team, but for me, I just don't see how they're going to be able to score enough here. Now, if Pitt is able to take away the 3-point line in this matchup, which is one of their strengths, they're actually ranked 2nd in the all NCAA in terms of 3-point defense. If they're able to kind of handle UNC on the 3-point line today, I think this game can be a lot closer than we're expecting to see. But for me, I think it's just going to be hard to match up with UNC, even Baycott inside if they take away the 3-point line. And like I mentioned, the fact that this Pitt has not had any wins against any top 100 opponents is really concerning for me. I think we just have to see Pitt. I don't know if they're going to be at the bottom half of the ACC this year, but I think they have to break that seal first, right, in conference play. They just have to get that first win off their back, and I think that happens in their next game against Louisville. But I think today, I think UNC, even though it's on the road, I think they're the much better team, the much more battle-tested team, and I think they get it done here. Last thing I want to tell you about this game is pay attention to the line movement. I told you I got the spread at 3.5. That is a key number in college basketball. Anything over 4, 4.5, I start worrying a little bit, or you might want to look at it live. Why? Because this game one opened up at 2.5 or 1.5, so we're already getting significant line movement there. But then also keep in mind that if it's a close game late, my key number is 3.5. Why? Because you get those 2 possessions of free throws at the end. So you foul me, I go shoot 2 free throws, I hit those. You miss a shot, I get fouled again, I hit 2 free throws, I cover, right? That's kind of the thing. Now, it doesn't always work out that way, but that's normally the way that I think about it. So just keep that in mind, that if this line closes at 5, 6, 4.5, then you might want to wait for it live, or then try to tease it or do something else with it. All right, my friends? But UNC minus 3.5 is the first best bet of the day. Now, for my second best bet of the day, we're going to stay in the ACC, and we're going to go to another conference matchup, and we're going to Syracuse and Duke. And this game is going to be played at Cameron Indoor Stadium, one of the most historical sites in all of college basketball. And if you guys don't know by now, I'm sure you all do, but Syracuse is my team. Like, that's my college basketball team. I take the opportunity to take them. I do, right? At the beginning of the season, I'll be honest, I was a little hesitant to give out Syracuse plays. Why? Because I had no clue what to expect from this team this year. I mean, everybody else in the country didn't know what to expect either, right? After a billion years, Jim Boeheim finally retired from Syracuse, and this is a 'Cuse team that we have not seen run man-to-man defense in literally decades, right? They're now running man-to-man defense on over 90% of their defensive possessions. So while everyone has been like focusing on the defensive change for Syracuse, which I mean, it has been eye-opening, I think the country's still sleeping on potential NBA lottery pick Judah Mintz, who has blossomed into a downhill explosive combo guard. I mean, the dude is electric to watch. As a sophomore, Mintz is averaging 19.5 points per game right now on 49% shooting, and he's also improved his three-point shooting as well, as now it's up to 37%. You love to see that, and his play is one of the main reasons why the Syracuse Orange find themselves at an unexpected 10-3 record. So they're going to have their hands full with this Duke Blue Devils team. Now, keep in mind, like, Duke is really good. They're playing at home today. You know, obviously that's a great home court advantage, but 15 points in a conference game against a team with this type of confidence that Syracuse has right now, that's just way too many points to lay, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Syracuse plus 14.5 at minus 110 odds as the second best bet of the day. Now, like I mentioned, Duke, they should win this game. Duke is a great team. They come into this matchup winners of 4 straight, including an MSG matchup against Baylor, where they won that game 78-70, but they do have a few head-scratching losses on their record. One being a weak offensive team in Arkansas. They lost to them, but that game was in Fayetteville, Arkansas, so I get it. True road game, and I understand why they lost that matchup, so I'll give you that one. Tough place to play there. But then another road loss to open up ACC play against Georgia Tech, to me, is also concerning. I faded Georgia Tech a few times this year. I'm not a big fan of their roster. I think they're going to be okay. They're well coached in Damian Stoudemire, but Duke, they should not lose to Georgia Tech, in all honesty. I don't care that game's on the road. And the way that I look at this matchup is Duke cannot afford to open up ACC play 0-2. So I think they'll be inspired to play at home today. They're number 10 in offensive efficiency, number 28 in defensive efficiency, and they don't turn the ball over at all. So, I mean, they're giving it to you all types of ways. So I think, you know, this is a very well-rounded Duke team, and because of these factors, I do believe that they should win this game. But this Syracuse team, for me, has been playing some of their best basketball of the year right now, and that's why I just don't think they're going to lose this game by 15 points. And in their other 3 matchups this year against Tennessee, Gonzaga, and Virginia, they were all 10-point underdogs in those games, but they weren't as healthy at that time. They didn't have their rotation figured out like they do now. Mintz wasn't playing as well as he is now, and I think the Syracuse team is just a lot better now after that Virginia loss, and then also after that Maui Invitational losses. So that even though they didn't cover in any of those games as 10-point underdogs, today I think they have the opportunity to cover as a big underdog. I think we're getting some value on Syracuse here because of Duke's recent victories and their win streak, and then Cuse's failure to cover as a big underdog this year. And as a fan who's followed this Syracuse team for years, I get it. It's a new team this year, new coach. Syracuse always shows up against Duke in Cameron Indoor. It's just, look it up. Like, you can look up historically, Duke versus Syracuse, and look at the records, especially when Duke goes down to Cameron Indoor. They always play them tough there, especially on the road. If you want to go with Syracuse team total over 68.5, I'm not opposed to that either. They're averaging 76 points per game. They're also scoring over 82 points per game over the last 3 games. But for me, I'm just going to go with Syracuse on the spread today, plus 14.5. Way too many points. I get it. Duke has the home court advantage, but I think Syracuse can keep this one close, or if they lose, it's not good to me. It's going to be maybe 9-10 points in this one. All right, 2 best bets down, 2 spreads I gave you. Let's go for one final bet here, and we're going to go with a money line parlay. You know, I love my two-team steams, and I think we have a perfect bozo pack. Shout out to Ron for that terminology there. And we're going to take Wisconsin on the money line, and we're going to parlay that with Purdue on the money line, and that gets you to minus 104 odds. I absolutely love that. Wisconsin takes on Iowa, and Purdue takes on Maryland. Let's dive into that Wisconsin-Iowa matchup first. So I know I say this a lot, right? You probably tap into the channel and you hear me talk about the clashing of varying play styles often. I normally use that terminology often, but I really do mean it today when I talk about this Wisconsin and Iowa matchup. We have two teams that are completely on opposite sides of the spectrum in terms of how they play basketball. Iowa ranked 14th in adjusted tempo. Meanwhile, Wisconsin 326th in adjusted tempo. So one team that's looking to play super fast and one team that's looking to play super slow. So the question you got to ask yourself is which team is going to be able to establish their play style? For me, I say Wisconsin, not only because this game is at home, but because Wisconsin is the better team and they also have the better defense. They're ranked 37th in defensive efficiency. So keep in mind, Iowa can shoot the ball, but they can't really defend. Wisconsin can do both. I faded Wisconsin a few times at the beginning of the year. I haven't been doing it lately. Why? Because we've seen Wisconsin beat some quality teams like Marquette. We've seen them be able to win games like in Virginia, SMU, Michigan State. These are all really good teams. This team is battle tested, and I think that because of that, Wisconsin is just going to be able to get that done. What's Iowa's best win? Number 80 Seton Hall, okay? So for me, do I think Wisconsin covers the 9-point spread? Yes, but I'm going to take the money line to be safe. Let's go with Wisconsin on the money line, the team with more experience, the better defense, and for me, I think they're going to be able to control the tempo enough to so this where they don't get themselves in a complete shootout. Now let's look at this Purdue-Maryland game, okay? I like Purdue in this matchup. Maryland was one of those teams that was fading earlier in the season, but Kevin Williams has his team playing some good basketball right now. They've turned some things around over the last few weeks, and we love to see it. We picked them last week. Well, we didn't take them. We took the under in that UCLA game, and we saw them pick up a big win there. We love to see that. We cashed in on that on the channel. But then when you look at Purdue, they're 12-1 on the year, okay? They're nice. They're nice. Obviously, they got Zach Edey there, which is probably the preseason All-American Player of the Year. They find themselves at 12-1, and their only loss for Purdue on the year is an overtime loss to Northwestern. I'm sure they blew a parlay for me on that night, but I can't have them do that again for me today. Why? Because Maryland, they're going to play tough. They're going to play tough, and they might even cover the spread. But if Purdue is going to be a Final Four team, like everybody says, if they're going to be a national championship contender, like everyone talks about, they have to win road conference games. Both of these teams are 1-1 to start conference play, but the Boilermakers are the much more battle-tested team. Besides that UCLA win, Maryland's next best win is against number 102 Penn State. Well, meanwhile, Purdue, they have wins against Xavier, Gonzaga, Tennessee, Marquette, Iowa, Alabama, and Arizona. That is crazy. That is a crazy gauntlet of the non-conference games, and now you're ready for Big Ten play coming in with that type of schedule. I like that today. Maryland, they're playing better basketball, but I don't think they're as good as Purdue in this matchup. So let's go Purdue on the money line, and we're going to parlay that with Wisconsin on the money line. Minus 104 odds as our final best bet of the day. Well, that's it for me today, my friends. 3 bets, 3 winners that are coming to your way on this Tuesday slate. We're going to take UNC minus 3.5, Syracuse plus 14.5, and then we're going to go with the 2-team steam of Wisconsin and Purdue on the money line. 3 winners. Hopefully, we can celebrate a sweep here on the college basketball slate. We swept college football yesterday, so I love my college sports, so hopefully we can celebrate a winner. And if you drop a comment below with your favorite pick of the day, I'll hope I can tail you as well so we can continue to make money together. All right, my friends, let's get to that bag, dictate your fate, and I'll see you tomorrow. Later, gang.